There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I'm your host. I'm the guy behind the mic, the guy with the glasses on, the guy with the red face. Why? Well, I've been getting after it all morning. Been lifting, been riding, been running, heart rate through the roof. This morning, we're talking about mindsets. Yes, Jacob Newton, former pro hockey player. Yeah, no, not for the Winnipeg Jets. No, that's coming later. We're going to talk about saying no to all the bullshit in your life and yes to the clarity. The deep dive, why saying no made me happier and why your constant yes might be wrecking your life. Yeah, that's an absolute true story. Morning Loop Reloaded, the fitness secret most men over 40 are missing. Guys, I discovered something I'm going to reveal in the second hour, top of the hour. There's a fitness secret for men that are aging you guys need to hear about. We're going to talk about it coming up in the second hour. Good morning, Adam Holroyd. I see you there in the comments. Groundbreaking insights into love, sex, and why your relationship feels like a Netflix original with bad pacing. Coming up with AJ Zeglin in Mind Fuel. And hey, we're going to get into 5 habits. You know how Keith and Johnny love habits here on the show. 5 habits top performers swear by. And no, not one of them is not waking up at 4 a.m. and doing the whole tub and the hot tub and all that kind of bullshit. No, we're talking 5 realistic, simple habits you can roll into your life to help you achieve those big ass goals throughout the day. And hey, center stage today, Jacob Newton, former pro hockey player, all about mindset, mental mindset. He's going to join us here in the lab as well. But first, let's get after it, guys. Smash the like button, drop the comments. And if you have not subscribed yet, why not? Hey, why not? Why have you not subscribed to this show? Listen, just a big old reminder, guys, this is an R-rated experience, working our way to the X-rated experience. Headphones on for the children or the adults, depends on who needs to be taught what's happening today. And hey, listen, guys, don't hit the snooze button. You hit the snooze button, you're going to be 9 minutes behind. You do it twice, you're 20. Well, actually 18. You do it all year, you're going to be a week behind the guy who doesn't. So just a little reminder to get up and get after it. And hey, we got producer Jimmy behind the scenes on the buttons. We got producer Melissa making sure we're staying on track. And of course, I got my brother from another mother, John Andersen, coming in. Looks like we got tarps off today. I got jackets on. Johnny's got sleeves off. Jimmy, let's bring in the brother from another mother, John Andersen, and lighten it up with the fucking arms out. What's up, brother? How are you today?
How are you, brother?
I'm awesome, man. I'm battling red face again this morning. I thought I left enough time to bring my body temperature down, but clearly I haven't again.
It's not a bad thing, brother. Not a bad thing at all.
Not a bad thing at all. How are you? You look jacked. You look ready to get after. You look like I can see the energy emanating from you this morning. The energy emanating.
Well, as that was unfortunately prompted by a piece of bad news we got yesterday.
Oh, no. Remington, George, I see you there. Good to see you there in the comments. Johnny, give me the bad news, brother.
Well, the way that Terry and I do our shit is we both are really, really, I mean, we're both strong people, but more importantly, we are really in tune with each other. And when one is having trouble, the other one just fucking stands up. Yeah. Because we know that, hey, right now is the time to. So anyway, long and short of it, I'm fucking standing tall today because unfortunately, God damn it, her best friend who just lost her daughter. Remember that? We just went to her celebration of life. Her husband is in the fucking hospital. They're drilling holes in the side of his fucking head, releasing pressure from his brain.
Jesus Murphy, man. So hold on.
I know, dude. God damn.
Dude, are you?
I'm only laughing because it's like a pressure release. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that uncomfortable laugh sometimes we have, right? So I'm
like, God damn it, it's not gonna get any worse. So let's just fucking keep going.
I'm gonna share the uncomfortable humor with you. Should I be knowing something? Should I be getting out of your circle? Do I have a map?
Dude, at this point, I say this in a joking way, fucking run. Because I swear to God, everybody around me I swear to God, dude, since I'm trying to think of when it was last year, dude. Yeah. Sometime last year. I don't remember when, dude. Fucking people just started fucking dying around me.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Man.
I mean, it's like multiple buddies, it's like fuck, and I mean, and I got to say, with why I can't tell the story on this show, but
Yeah,
one of my buddies that died, I mean, he went out with a bang. I was going to say, if I was going to go, and I was in his shoes, that wouldn't have been a bad way to go. Although when they found it was quite a scene. So that being said, we're not going to fucking Mexico because,
yeah,
we're supposed to be leaving this morning, because obviously if something's haywire, she's going to go fucking straight to be with a friend. And if we're in Mexico, we're 6 hours further away. Plus, goodness, we haven't, sure, it won't be any issues, but it may be a little slower at the border with some of the new shit going on.
Oh, no question. No question.
Yeah.
It will be. Yeah. Good morning. Good time to see you there in the comments. Good to have you here. First thing we're hearing, Johnny's, man, since I've met John, it's just like every few months there's,
brother, life is fucking testing me, brother, for sure.
Yeah, no question.
No fucking questions about it. And the thing about it is, I'm a big one on doubling down and taking risks and shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I've gotten where I am.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, I swear it's just like, sometimes when you're deep and you're double down, life will hit you in fucking weird ways. And you just got to realize, getting through these difficult parts of life is what makes you a better person. Staying on your feet during these parts of life is what helps the people that you love see that you're the pillar that you are.
Dude, that's the power of this show. So I'm going to shine a light on our show here right now. What's happening to you is just real life for a lot of men and a lot of human beings. And the reality is there are no outlets for men to go and have these conversations to start the day. So you received some difficult news yesterday. You're like, okay, I got to get after my day today, but I just kind of feel like I want to talk. I want to get around a buddy. I want to get into the gym per se, right? Just like when we're growing up, you start your day in the gym, you hang out with your buddies, you talk gym talk, you share what's going on, you share what's happened last night, you share, and that's the power of this show. What happened for me Monday, man? I came to you Monday and like, dude, my head's all messed up because of my weekend. You came to me a couple weeks ago. I guarantee you, after our 90 minutes here, 80 minutes together, you're going to be in a different place because we're talking about it, we're feeling about it. You know what? You got my love towards you and Terry, but man, like it's life, isn't it? Right. And I turned the news on yesterday. A couple big hockey guys from the hockey world have passed. And here's the other reality, brother. It's also looking at our licenses, right? We're at that age now where we're people around us that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s, that life starts to go by, right? That's just the reality of it. It's just the reality. And it's a space this, hoping we can keep talking about things like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So I'm in my tank top today because basically it's beautiful weather here. And so Terry's, she loves the outdoors. She loves being at the lake, at the beach. So when she wakes up, I'm just going to kind of set up, my day. I got some filming to do anyway. So I'll do that out on the beach with her, but I'm just going to get her up, take her out to the beach, and, we'll just start hanging out there. I'll still be productive.
Yes.
And she can just kind of soak up some sun and go what she's going through. And so I guess you say I'm getting myself ready early for the day.
Yes,
baby.
That's awesome. Hey, good time. I see you there. Good to see you here first thing this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Lady Drew Boger, good morning, everyone. Thanks for your event and everyone attending. Yes, thanks for hanging out with us this morning, Lady Drew. And Adam, I think there is probably a slight weather difference from where Johnny is compared to where I am. But I will tell you, Holroyd, you're in Buffalo. I'm here in Winnipeg. It's not, you and I probably aren't too dissimilar with.
You've got to be pretty fucking similar. Yeah,
I'm thinking we are. I'm thinking Manitoba and Buffalo are somewhat the same. But hey, Johnny, I know I got some fun to talk. We got Lady Drew. Yeah, you're 62 years young and you're always stay healthy and you enjoy life. I love your content. I love your attitude, Lady Drew. Johnny, so this is I think a timely discussion for today to kick off before we got Jacob Newton coming in this morning. And hey, I think you're really going to like Jacob Newton. The guy is a mental workhorse, mental resilience, and his mental mindset, former pro hockey player. Sounds like he's got his shit really straightened out, and he's all about mental mindset and helping guys achieve some pretty crazy things. But Johnny, you and I have talked about this a little bit in the past, and I found some additional research to support this. And I love throwing things on the table that I think our audience, that I think I would be interested in. We can have some great conversation about. Well, listen, have you ever wondered, and I know you've paused about this, but there's some research and there's some evidence that's suggesting this. Have you ever wondered if the reality your experience is actually real Or like we've talked before, could we all be living inside a highly advanced simulation? Yeah. Now listen, let me tell you something, man. I got to tell you something here. There has been some research done by physicist Michael Vopson. His recent theory was based on the second law of infodynamics, proposes something startling. The universe behaves more like an optimization program, striving for efficiency rather than randomness. And he talks about how genetic information doesn't mutate randomly, but rather minimizes information. And he argues that patterns could be evidence. That's why I thought about you, because patterns could be evidence of a cosmic source code, suggesting that our reality might actually be simulated. And as he says, whether or not we are in a simulation or not, you can use this fascinating perspective of patterns to shift your question about the patterns around you. For example, Johnny, reflect on your daily routines. Like, are you actively shaping your reality, or are you just running default programming? That's what got me fascinated, because you and I talked about,
you can do either one.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was fascinated about this, right? And then, Johnny, regularly questioning your assumptions can break you free from autopilot and perhaps lead to more purposeful living, which he talks about embracing mindfulness, having you questioning whether there's reality or a simulation. Because if you were in a simulation, would it change how you lived your life? Would you?
Well,
Knowing that your experiences might be programmed, shift your goals or dreams. I just find it kind of a fascinating, bizarre conversation to have.
Well, I guess the way that I look at it is it happen? I mean, fuck, who fucking can really say?
I know.
There's a lot of, with quantum physics, we are learning a whole lot of shit really fucking fast. There's no question about it.
So what I found, go ahead. Yeah.
To count this out would be ridiculous, right?
Yes.
But getting back to boiling it down and getting down to what you fucking can control. Obviously you can control your learning, but that's a fucking lot of learning. You're not going to figure this out in today. But what you can control is how you, whether we're in a simulation or not, we can basically create our reality. Because if we make today a little bit different, we change something today, we alter tomorrow.
Well, yeah, exactly. And listen, remember, simulated or not, and this is what I loved how this kind of wraps up this conversation, because it even leads into our conversation coming up with Jacob and what you and I talk about all the time in the show. Simulated or not, this is the only reality we know for sure. So I invite you to embrace the journey that you're on. We talk all the time. If you're stuck in a job that you're racing towards retirement, change your fucking job, because you're just dying. You're actually dying while living. Yeah, I'm dying right now before I hit 50, 55 so I can retire. No, embrace your journey. Question everything around you. And damn it, men, live boldly. But
real quick on that level, when you're questioning everything around you, don't let that fucking cause you to sit on your fucking heels or your ass.
No, get up and
don't let this process slow you down. If anything, the questioning should speed you up. Does that make sense? Let's make sure. For me, I want to make sure I'm not promoting, let's go into this great fucking figuring out thought process and we'll figure this out. Next thing you know, 10 years goes by and you're fucking the same goddamn shit.
Get up, get moving. Don't overthink it. Talk about it all the time. Yes. Get up, moving, get movement, creates momentum. Sitting around creates a fat ass and creates death. Listen, Johnny, let's get to the accountability check-in. And then, I'm with you, FTP, fit presenter Mike McQuillan. Question everything and listen for an answer. I like that. Hey, Johnny, imagine playing pro hockey for a decade, only to discover that your toughest opponent isn't on the ice, but within yourself. And I got to think, all the journeys you went on, strongman, bodybuilding, wrestling, that opponent wasn't the guy across the ring. It was in your head. Well, today, listen, the guest we have coming up, this guy faced his deepest fears head on, and he emerged stronger than ever. We're going to meet Jacob Newton coming up in about a minute or so. But before we do that, Johnny, we're going to do the accountability check-in, and we'll bring you back. We're going to meet Jacob. Okay, brother?
Let's go, baby.
Do it. All right, Johnny's getting out of here. Jimmy, I see your note. We're going to get Jacob, get his headphones all sorted out there. I see you there, Jacob, in the green room there, brother. I got you on the double horizontal, Jacob. And I don't know if I got you on the vertical. Do not got you on the vertical, Jacob. So you're going to want to open one tab, one vertical, one horizontal. All right, guys, listen. 5 signs you're procrastinating without realizing it. Hey, we were just talking about it. You sitting on your ass laying around? Get up. I used to think procrastination was obvious. Oh yeah, just scrolling, slacking, straight up avoidance, just fucking flipping my nose to everything around me. Now I'm just gonna fucking procrastinate. I love procrastination. But then I realized that procrastination started to look like productivity. I was like, wait, that's not my productive. That's actually procrastinating. Well, listen, here are 5 sneaky signs it's showing up in your world every single day. And I think for this, Jimmy, I think I gotta take the sunglasses off for these ones. These might be blinding me. All right. If you're stuck in prep mode, we all know you're just sitting around waiting for the magical someday. Hey, Johnny, someday. How many clients have you asked someone to start someday? It's the day in the calendar that we're still looking to find. Someday. It might come after Sunday. It might come before. I don't know if it's between Monday or Tuesday, Jimmy, or if it's after Thursday, but someday. You're stuck in prep mode. Yeah, you're still planning. You're still researching, but you're actually not starting. No, you're procrastinating, not being productive. You're stuck in the small stuff. Oh, yeah, you know the small stuff. It's like in the hockey rink, in the corners, you just fucking grind it out in the corners, grinding. Well, listen, you're clearing emails, you're checking boxes. It feels like progress, but the big task, you're like, I'll do that someday, I'll do it tomorrow. No, you're chasing the perfect time. You're like, I'll do it today at 12. No, do it right fucking now. Get up and do it. Yeah, just get it done right now. The 5-second rule we learned earlier this week. And listen, you might be waiting for the stars to align. You're avoiding the mess of starting. You're reacting. You're not. Listen, if you're reacting, you've already lost. And you feel indifferent. You're not avoiding the task of fear. We just don't feel anything toward it. There's no urgency, no excitement, just blah. Yep. Well, listen, guys, that's a red flag. So listen, as you get through your day today, how to spot your procrastination when it's happening. Ask why you're really delaying. Notice if you're always choosing the low impact tasks. Are you selling? Every task on your list today, guys, is not important if it doesn't have sales attached to it. Think about that. Because every other task that's not generating revenue is generating death. Yeah, that's exactly it. Go and generate sales. Those are the most important tasks. So listen, let's wrap it up, Jimmy. I'm just kind of getting out. I'm just right into this one today. Don't spin it. Don't soften it. Get up, get your ass out of bed, put the procrastination aside, and become a productive business athlete today. That's how we get it done. On Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jim, let's do this. I'm going to bring the music down here, and we're going to do this here. Today, we're going to be joined by Jacob Newton, a former pro hockey player. Oh, hold on, guys. I brought something to the table today for Jacob's sake, because we all know that the future Stanley Cup champions are residing right here. There we go, guys. Yeah, so I got my Jets jersey. Yeah, Jacob, you laugh all you want, brother. I'm going to get you on the Jets train. There's no doubt about it. This jersey is coming on next week. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get Stanley Cup as a season ticket holder. Yeah, listen, Jacob's a former pro hockey player turned mental performance coach who's transforming the way athletes and everyday people approach emotional and mental health. Johnny, you're going to love this guy, man. I dig into stuff I've been reading about him. From navigating childhood trauma, and dude, his childhood trauma will fucking gut you in the, just hit you in the gut. I'm telling you right now. From writing his life story, Jacob's journey proves that real strength is found in facing ourselves. John, I can tell right now this guy belongs in the lab with us. I can tell you right now, this guy is going to fit in extremely well in the lab. Jimmy, let's not pause any longer. Let's bring the excitement let's get the applause ready. Let's dive deep, breathe easy, and bring in the mindful mindset expert, Jacob Newton. Jacob!
Gentlemen, what's going on? I saw Jimmy was rocking a tank top. I said, I'm going to go throw one on.
That's awesome, brother. How are you, pal? Good to see you here today.
Yeah, I'm good. My hands aren't working. I don't know what's going on my sister's laptop. I just yesterday. And, I think you guys can hear me, right?
We got you, brother. We got you. You're good.
That's awesome. So Jacob, listen, we like to ask this question of everybody who shows up on the show, especially for this first segment. And I'm suspecting your answer is going to be fun. Jacob, what is your morning routine?
So I used to be very intense, very extreme with my morning routine. I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I would go through like 4 hours before I was selling cars. Sucked the soul out of me, and I got out of that after 7 months. Now my morning routine, I've got a few non-negotiables, some breath work, get into my red light, try and hit at least 100 push-ups, 100 body weight squats before I get my kids up.
And that's every day? You do that every day, brother?
Yeah, those are my non-negotiables.
That's fucking great, dude. That's great.
I got my other workouts I do. but that is just get the blood flowing, get that, those happy chemicals flowing through my body. And then on the days I have my kids, I get them making their own lunches. Now they're all do. And once
are
then I start
the push-ups and the squats, are they I'm making a guess here. I'm guessing that's probably as much for your mental position than physical position, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of breath work. I got certified in breath work 4 years ago. And so now it's not just about pumping them out. Now I'm just trying to, sink my breath into, the ups and the downs of those push-ups.
Oh, nice. So the breath work in the exercise. Oh, that's good.
Yes. Yeah. So it's, again, my morning routine used to be that, and, with meditation, with yoga, with a much longer workout. And then I would do a cold shower. But what I realized for myself is that I was becoming a prisoner to the practice, and only thought I could only feel okay if I did all of these things. And I realized I was mentally trapping myself, putting myself
in there, baby.
So,
dude,
I understand that.
This show, Keith and Johnny were talking about this the last couple of days because we're very regimented, very disciplined. This show was all about getting up, not hitting snooze, helping guys get their day started, helping them achieve their goals, like the regular loop, right, Jacob? So to hear you talk about the prison, John and I were talking about a couple of days ago where, I was admitting that if I don't get some things done, I feel like I'm in a prison, and I've had to teach myself how to move the walls as I age a little bit and going, okay, it's okay to dial it back a little bit, Mr. Billis, because you may be feeling a little bit tired today. But I was feeling confined by the prison of my non-negotiables and of my own personal obligations. Does that make sense, Jacob?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know for me on the journey that I've been on, I've had to do a lot of deep healing. I heard you mentioning it earlier about the childhood trauma I went through. And so for me, at times, just accepting how I feel when I wake up, and again, understanding that I don't have to go and do those things to be accepted in society or whatever, and just wait and see what happens in an hour. I might be feeling a lot better in an hour or 2 hours, but like I said, I still have my non-negotiables, the breath work. It's unbelievable what that does for me, brings me into the present moment, grounds me back into my body, oxygenate the system. And as a result of that, I'm a lot more responsive to the things that are going to come at me from life opposed to reactive. So
I love what you just said, because I'm going to get in front of Johnny here because I know he can relate to this. We're here with Jacob Newton, Keith Billis, John Andersen. And Jacob's the founder of NewtonsMind LLC, mental performance, emotional control, empowerment, certified breathwork coach. Jacob, John was going through some stuff a couple weekends ago and come back to hang out with me in the lab here. And he was talking about how he decided to, John, I'm going to speak on your behalf here, how he decided to extend his counting in moments in the morning, and he extended his 10-15 minutes to almost an hour of breathing himself in, counting himself in. So to hear you talk about how, I might sit down for a breathing session, I might feel a certain way at the start of the hour, I don't know how I'm going to feel at the end of it, but what you're really talking about is a moment in time, and you're not judging that next hour ahead of it, are you? You're judging what's in front of you. And what I'm taking from you is something I know John's really been leaning into. So I was really excited about today's conversation because you're drinking our Kool-Aid. It all starts up here, doesn't it, Jacob? It all starts absolutely right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the, we're going to experience roughly 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, consciously and unconsciously, but primarily unconsciously. And so how you start your day and what you feed your mind when the subconscious mind is the most aware within those first 20 to 30 minutes after waking up is what you're going to experience more of throughout the rest of the day. So you might wake up and you might be tired and you might say, fuck it, I don't want to do nothing. Okay, that's fine. But make sure you've got positive thinking going on, being that active thinker, being the conscious thinker, and just pumping yourself with good positivity to start your day. And that's going to spread into the rest of your day.
And to add to what you're saying, brother, I'm such a subscriber to this whole thing. The subconscious thoughts, the majority of them are the same from yesterday. So if we don't actively try to change those fuckers, they're basically like, it's like mental theater, if you want to call it theater, meaning it engulfs, it's everything. So if we don't change what's on that screen, then we fucking relive what happened yesterday when we want today to be a little better than yesterday. So it's a constant, something's got to change today to make that mental theater a little different tomorrow, which means we keep evolving in the way we want to.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it would be wise for people to get a better understanding into where those subconscious thoughts come from. Because when your subconscious mind is the most aware, your brain is operating on a theta frequency. And from the moment we were born, the first 7-8 years roughly, we were consistently in a theta frequency. We were in absorption mode. So that inner voice that we have as adults, that's just going all day long, that was the voice that was spoken to us by our parents, our brothers and sisters, our closest caretakers in those first 7-8 years. So because that voice is going on in our minds, so many people listen to it, identify with it, believe it, and then they operate through life.
It.
And that's
their
it.
narrative.
They don't understand that it's not them. It's not them at all.
It's like their fucking story was told to them. They didn't get to create their story.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So at times I sit here and I'll think, man, fuck, if I just didn't have parents, like I was born and then see you later, mom and dad, what would that subconscious mind be like? But obviously that's not the case. So much of it is about learning so that we can unlearn so much of who we actually aren't, and then actually step into our greatness and into our true power.
That's a fascinating question you ask. What if I didn't have parents? Because Jacob, on the flip side of that, we know there's many men, females, humans out there asking the ultimate question is, who are my parents, or where are my parents? So it's equally a fascinating question. Johnny?
I said, what if you had a parent like, say, Doug Williams, who basically programmed the minds of his daughters, Venus and Serena, who went on to do things that were never seen before.
Or Eldrick
because their story was told to them.
Yeah,
it was all what he wrote, like an 80-page, paper or book or whatever it was on how it was going to lay out. And that's what he fed them. That's all they knew. You saw like in interviews when they were young, the people, they would say, yes, I believe I can beat the world champion. And the interviewer would like, come on, do you really? And the dad would jump in and go, hey, that's enough. She already told you and she was confident. Don't, because basically that's the doubt that was never put in there, and he wasn't going to let it happen.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
I love that. And it's an approach I take with my kids. My son's 9 years old. My daughter's 11. I understand that after they wake up and right before bed is two of the most sacred times of their day. Again, when their subconscious mind is being programmed. So I'm just pumping them with positivity. I'm having them speak it themselves. I'm having them think it, speak it, and then we can get into sleep. But those 2 times are just so important. And all too often, I think parents don't understand that, obviously. Their kids will go to bed angry after they told them, all these negative things. And then now they're on repeat. That's just on repeat as they're drifting off into sleep. And
that's a crazy state of mind, brother. Sometimes that state of mind feels like you're sleeping, but you're not. Like Keith just mentioned me kind of rearranging my morning. I would shift my morning when I feel like I need to change. I feel like the shift in the morning is what kind of redirects my path every day. But anyway, I felt like I needed more self-discovery time. So I made my sitting in silence, as I call it. And Keith said, I count my way. And that's how I get into that state. I count. But anyway, I've moved this thing to, close to an hour. So what happens, I get up, I take a piss, I turn on the coffee maker, and I get in my chair. And in that time, it's that close to an hour is a lot different than 10 minutes. And so I start getting into the state, and I was like, there's almost I get in that chair so quickly after I'm awake, I should say, I almost think I'm falling asleep, but I'm not. And when you recognize that, like, whoa, fuck, man, this is the place I want to be. Yeah.
And I've learned, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I learned a lot of.
I listen to him all the time, dude. I listen to him when I take my nap. I listen to him as I fall asleep.
Oh yeah, I'm good, Jimmy.
Yeah. And he and I read it. I think it was in the book Becoming Supernatural or Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. One of the two. He was talking about, we've all had those experiences when we're laying on the couch watching TV and we start drifting off to sleep, but then we jolt awake. And when that jolt is taking place, that's your frequency going from a high beta, mid beta, going down into that theta. And if you can remain aware in that moment and continue to allow your body to fall asleep, you have now just entered into the subconscious mind. But you're aware, and then that's when you can do so much of the reprogramming. It is very challenging to do that. So not just, obviously.
Oh, brother, you got to be so intentional. One of the things that I do, one of the practices at the moment, I'm not doing it, but I'm getting close to going back to it. Alarm goes off at 2:59. First thing I do is go take a piss. I have another alarm that goes off at basically 3:01, which gives me the ability to take a piss, get back to my phone, and be holding on to it so that when it goes off, it doesn't wake up my wife with that second alarm a minute later, which is not very polite, but that second alarm, it goes and I hit it, boom, turn it off real quick. That's that. So I've been up for 2 minutes. That's my trigger. Where the fuck are your thoughts? Because if I'm going down the wrong rabbit hole, what I do is I turn it into a little bit of a personal thing. It's just like when I'm talking to a person, fuck you. I'm not doing that shit today. Shut up. I'm not going down that hole. I'm going down the hole I want to go down, which makes me feel good. And that right away, when I catch it at 2 minutes, at the 2 minutes after being awake, is a lot more powerful than if I fucking catch it at 15 minutes.
Jacob, isn't that awareness powerful? Like, isn't that so? I find that awareness on behalf of John quite powerful. Because to set the alarm and then to have that mindfulness to say, okay, I got a minute to get my shit together before it goes off again. Like that takes intention, Jacob Newton.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think so many people are living without intention.
Yes.
And most people, unfortunately, I don't think will ever wake up to who they truly are and ever cultivate that awareness. Unfortunately, I think it takes catastrophe in a lot of ways for people to be shook to their core. That was the case with me, a divorce. I cheated on my wife, and then I got cheated on. We divorced. Those were catastrophic events in my life that got me to realize, holy fuck, like I am not living right. I got to change something.
Okay. And that's Dispenza's message. Dispenza's message. Why wait for tragedy? You can do it today.
Yes.
Okay,
I know.
We're getting into the gold mine here. We're just dispensing nuggets. This is awesome. So here's what I want to do. Jacob, we had you for 13 minutes. I'd love to keep you sticking around. Can you stick around with us?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, as you know, Johnny has alluded to, Johnny's a man who likes to keep his fluids coming in. So every few minutes on this show, we schedule time for Johnny to take a break, to walk his way to the restroom, to excrete the fluids from his body. So about this time, Johnny's got to get up and take a piss, frankly. And you and I are going to keep the conversation going, Jacob. We're going to,
brother, I was going to say, I'll make it to my lifestyle, but then cut me loose right after my lifestyle.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So let's keep it going then, because Jacob, you said something, and I'm really pleased that you went here because I was hoping you were going to go here. But listen, you've talked about your trauma. You've talked about it. You know what happened when you were 5. You talked about what happened to you from your cousin. You were sexually abused by your cousin as a young man. You've talked about divorce. You've talked about being cheated on. Jacob, you've mentioned your trauma openly. You clearly are comfortable sharing it. How has vulnerability enhanced your ability to connect with others? Because I want to offer this to you. It's become my superpower. I've been divorced. I have made my fucking share of mistakes in life. It's made me and Johnny bond because John's been vulnerable. I've been vulnerable. It's been the foundation of this show. How has your vulnerability, Jacob Newton, enhanced your ability to connect with everyone around you?
Yeah, I think it's, I realized, I first started putting myself out there all the way back in 2017. I was playing over in Finland. And, through putting myself out there, I realized like I get to just be who I am. I am a man, and yes, men need to, be in action and be executing and attacking the day. Yeah. But we also have emotions. Yes. And I was pushing them away through booze, weed, chewing tobacco, sex. And I was just in a constant state of suppression. And once I realized that just being open and talking to somebody that I trust, like, holy hell, it's really not that hard. It's really not that hard to just share and talk about it. And if I cry, I tell you for free, every time after I'm done crying, I feel lighter emotionally. And who in the hell doesn't want that? And it's not something I'm doing every day. I've done a lot of it on my healing journey, but vulnerability, in my opinion, is true strength. It's in the end, it's just you against you. I'm giving myself permission to let these tears go, right? And as a result of that, I'm going to be able to show up better for the people around me because I'm getting that energy out, and it's just coming out in the form of tears. This time, other times it's going to come out through working out or breath work or whatever. But again, there's too many men in society today that think it's weakness to talk about the shit that we've gone through. Like, when I think about the sexual abuse I experienced from the ages of 5 to 7, there is no shame because it wasn't something I did. It was done to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't
and
your
now, exactly. I was a 5-year-old, and my cousin had told me if I tell my parents, like I had threatened him with, if I do that, he's going to beat me up. And I took that as real, as legit. And this guy was a monster. So I never said anything, and it just only continued. So the fear he put into me, I then carried with me until I began healing. And unfortunately, that healing came in the midst of my career. So I played the game at elite levels, but I was so timid and I was so fearful, and I had no idea where it was coming from, because the mind locked it all away, pushed it all away. And when it first was like revealed to me when I was 21, my oldest sister had brought it up. I was like, holy shit, what are you even talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, until I got into therapy, and then things started coming back to me. So I think if a man wants to be truly healthy, then you need to be vulnerable. Not every single day. It doesn't have to be a thing like that. But when the emotions come, if you've got the time and space to get it out, get it out. It's only going to help you, and it's going to help the other people around you to trust you, I feel, as well.
Brother, I always make the joke, leaders pull their pants down first, meaning that you got the confidence, you're a leader, you'll show everybody your problems. You'll show everybody the fact that you have issues. You'll be vulnerable because it's difficult. Leaders will do what most people won't do. And a lot of that has to do with, showing some of the fucking chinks in your armor, so to speak, and saying, hey, I overcame this. And, if you've had a situation, you can do it too. But if you didn't pull your pants down, nobody would have that roadmap to follow you.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And I think go ahead, Keith.
No, and Jacob, and what you're talking about has really been the foundation of why I started the show, and why Keith and Johnny and Marty's away today have really been leaning into the things we're talking about here today. A safe space for men to feel, to have emotions, but to still be men. We like to have sex with our wives, but we also like to share and feel. I came off a weekend on Monday where my son just finished his amateur hockey career. He's now going to junior. It's a big change in my life. I came in Monday and I basically wallowed to Johnny for an hour because I was fucked up in my head. But by the end of our time together, I felt pretty damn good. Right. Yeah. So your courage coming on the show is exactly the kind of message that we want to perpetuate to our audience. But Jacob, I'm curious about your hockey career and how it transitioned to this. And you transitioned from pro hockey to coaching emotional resilience. And I have to wonder, was there one pivotal moment on the ice? Was it in a scrum? Was it a situation on the bench, in the locker room, that made you reconsider your life's direction?
So I went to school at Northeastern, played college hockey at Northeastern, and I signed with Anaheim after my freshman season, which at that time was quite rare. And so I went straight to Anaheim, and then into the next year we had preseason, and I played in a preseason game against San Jose in San Jose, big rivalry game. Even though it was preseason, the damn place was sold out. Yes, there were 7 fights that night, or six fights that night. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3". I played the game at roughly 2.
Let me real quick. I want to make sure I'm following. You got brought right into the fucking show.
Straight in after my freshman.
So you're talking about playing at the Shark Tank San Jose.
Yeah. Shark Tank San Jose, correct.
So this is like somebody that played football for a year and gets put into now playing a preseason game in the NFL, for people that don't understand hockey.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And in that game, there were 6 fights. And again, like I said, I'm a big guy, 6'3", played at 210, 215. And with that, sometimes it's going to come the need, right, to protect your teammates, step into those scrums. And every time a fight went on, I got it. I was in fight or flight mode, but I would freeze. So anytime there was those scrums on the ice, I would be on the bench thinking, oh my gosh, I hope nobody asks me to fight. I've not been trained in fighting. I don't know how to fight, but I would literally just be there in a mental prison, so afraid to even get onto the ice. But obviously I had to get on the ice. And then in that game, I scored a goal and an assist. I was like, holy shit, I'm on top of the world. This is it, baby. Yeah. And then the very next day I was sent down. But there's been many different, scenarios throughout my 10-year career where, I just realized what I lacked as a teenager. What I lacked as a young kid was a positive male role model in my life. I didn't have one at all. And so the biggest reason why I do what I do now is to be exactly that for these younger athletes. Is I don't know who their parents are. I don't know who their friends are, if they have that positive male role model in their life. So if I can be that, that to me is everything. I would do it for free, but obviously in the society we live in, we got bills to pay, but I just know how important it is. What's that?
And now tariffs.
Yeah. And now tariffs. Absolutely. So I just
do you find yourself, brother, real quick, do you find yourself, because obviously we're both coaches and I deal with, the physicalities, of course, and then the mental side as well. But do you find like every once in a while, I'll find a case that can't pay me, but I'll just do it because I know that it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Do you find yourself doing that?
Absolutely. Because I don't come from money. We had adopted the 3 cousins. I already had 5. There was already 5 of us kids, 2 brothers, 2 sisters. We adopted 3 cousins. And we had like an 1,100 square foot home. So we had 10 people living in there most nights, sleeping on the ground. We lived paycheck to paycheck. So hockey is already so expensive. I don't want to add stress to people's lives. So if I need to, play with my prices, I'm open to that. I don't want to lead with that because I understand my value and my worth and what I can do for these hockey players. But if a family comes to me and says, hey, we just can't afford that right now. Okay, that's fine. I appreciate the communication. Let's talk. Let's find out where we can get to. And if that means I'm doing 6 sessions with the kid for free, I'm completely fine with that because that is probably a kid that needs me even more so. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not afraid to do things for free. Because so much sacrifice had to take place for me to play the games at the levels that I played at. So I want to pay that back for sure.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John Andersen, and Jacob Newton, our guest here today. He is a mental performance coach joining us all the way from somewhere in the States. Jacob, where are you joining us from, by the way?
Yeah, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio now.
Oh, Cleveland, Ohio. There you go. So, hey, while I was doing research for our call here today and for our discussion, I was looking through some notes and looking through your stuff. And here's a question for you. Jacob, why do you believe that traditional sports psychology needs a shakeup?
Yeah, I speak on this from experience and during my career working with sports psychologists, most specifically the 2017 season where I went over to Finland. I was married when I left, obviously have my 2 kids. So I went over by myself. A couple months into the season, she wanted a divorce. And then towards the end of the season, a different team in the league wanted me to go to their team for playoffs. So I was potentially going to extend my season by 8 more weeks, which meant 8 more weeks away from my kids. That fucked with me. That fucked with me at that point.
Yeah.
I was already 5,000 miles away at that point, I was already gone for 7.5 months away from them. And when I got into the space, into the room with the sports psychologist, all he wanted to talk to me about was hockey. I don't care in that moment. I did not care about hockey. I needed to talk about me as a human.
Yes.
So I think with sports psychology, they're too focused on the athlete and they've lost sight of the human. And I think so many players, the struggle is the human part of them. They've got sports coaches. They've got a head coach, an assistant coach, a defensive coach, a skills coach. We need a human coach.
Yeah.
Brother, I always say if we want more, we must become more as a person. Yes. Our skill set is great, but when we're better, we become better at those skills. Let's just talk about the core of who we are, which is a human, which is exactly what you're talking about, brother. I fucking love that.
What I find surprising about that comment, Jacob, is that, it's so obvious, at least now when you look in hindsight, right? That if Jacob is strong upstairs because he's connected to his kids, if Jacob is strong upstairs because he's connected to his wife, if Jacob is strong upstairs because he's connected to himself, those 3 things are good. Well, logically, I'm thinking he's going to perform on the ice. And I'm somewhere, and that's why I've been such a proponent of this mindset with our lab here. It all starts here. If you want to go lift 500 pounds in the gym and you're not connected to your wife or your kids, you're not lifting that weight. It's not going to happen. It's just not. Yeah. Truth, isn't it, Jacob? That.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's again, like when you take a look at around the globe in regards to sports, and we hear so many things coming out about players, domestic violence here, things that are happening outside of the game, which is why for me, I try with my athletes to help them to create harmony between life outside the game and life within the game, because I know that if they're not taking care of life away, it's going to bleed into their performance. It's going to distract them. And in the game of hockey, it is a game of intention. You have to be engaged and you have to be in the moment. a little bit different than other sports. Not that you
it.
don't need to be in the moment in the other sports, but hockey is just different. The speed in which it's played, how quick you got to be up here, right? Instinctual. And if I'm tying my skates, getting ready for a game, and I can't stop thinking about how much I miss my kids, or why the fuck did she divorce me, blah, 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 I'm not going to have a good performance. You know?
Yeah. So Jacob, if you can stick around, I'd love to have you keep sticking around. Can you stick around?
Sure.
I just want to say real quick, Jacob's talking about 7 fucking months, right? I've been through that rigor, but the longest, it's funny, the 7, because the longest I went through was 7 weeks, and that was a motherfucker,
dude.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I was like there. We had a small gap between tours, and I was in Tokyo. I was fucking ready to get on a plane and come home for 4 days. I mean, I only had like a day and a half here would have been the problem, but that's where the mind is. It's like, you know, fuck, I can sneak out of here. You know, the office won't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no kidding. So listen, let's do this. Producer Jimmy, let's do this. Let's kick Keith and Jacob off the screen for 90 seconds or so. We're going to get John do the lifestyle tip. John's going to go take a quick break, and we're going to keep the show rocking and rolling here. Having a great conversation with Jacob Newton. Johnny, this dude's bringing it this morning. The guy is bringing nuggets just out of the sky from Cleveland. I don't think we've ever had some from Cleveland before. We won't hold it against him, Andersen. I don't think we'll hold him that he's from Cleveland. So, but we'll get let's do this. We're going to do the lifestyle tip with Johnny, and then we're going to come back with Jacob. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. If you're stuck, you're probably looking at the wrong spots to get unstuck. You see, when we want to be successful at anything, we have to focus on ourselves. And for those of you that think that focusing on your self-improvement is selfish, you're doing it all fucking wrong. I'm not talking about taking time away from doing, you know, stuff that you need to with your kids. I'm not talking about going to the gym when your kid needs help with his homework. I'm talking about looking at your life and figuring out all the places you're wasting that time, sweeping it up so you can spend it on yourself. Stop fucking scrolling. Stop watching stupid TV. Stop doing the dumb shit that's burning up your time that allows you not to focus on yourself. Because if you want to be a better parent, if you want to be better at your business, if you want to be better shape, the list goes on. You have to focus on you. And the beautiful thing is when you focus on your self-improvement, you get better, which means you do better at everything, including taking care of the ones you love. And we strip it all away. What the fuck else do we want? We want to take care of the ones we love. Rock and roll.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm feeling the energy from that message this morning, man. I can feel the energy emanating from your voice this morning. That's a good message there, guys. All right, you're back with Keith, John, and Jacob Newton joining us all the way from Cleveland, Ohio. Rick Clody. I agree, man. What a great name, Newton's Minds. Hey, Jacob, I introduced you to Rick Clody over on LinkedIn. I'd encourage you to go connect with Rick. Solid guy. Good times out there as well. We got Lady Drew Boger coming in with some great comments. Jacob, I got some great questions, some fun stuff to throw at you, but I know you're writing a book. Jacob, the book.
Yeah, so I've already written one that was on mental performance, emotional control for hockey players, called How to Go Through Less Shit as an Athlete.
Yeah.
And then the one I'm working on now is about my life. It'll be a biography, but written as a story. And I went and did some public speaking here in Cleveland last year, and how we worked it. I was working with a mediator. He was just asking me questions, and then I would answer, in front of the crowd. And that's the man writing the book. And I am just so honored. There's going to be a lot of shit in there. It's going to cover many different things. Obviously, there's going to be sports involved, mental health, emotional health. I'll share a lot of stories about life away from the game, life within the game. And I am just so excited. And it's the thing that's firing me up the most outside of being a father currently.
Awesome. Jacob Newton, we got AJ Zeglin joining us here this morning. AJ is our resident Mind Fuel mental performance expert. AJ, meet Jacob. Jacob, meet AJ. And I'm loving the fact that we're together here today because Jacob put some perspective for you. AJ is the former, dabbles in, spends a lot of time with the Pro Jets, the Pro Moose here in Winnipeg. On the strength side, the mental side, he's been in pro hockey his entire life. Jacob's a former pro hockey player. He has gone through his entire journey in life. And Jacob now runs a business called NewtonsMind, LLC, mental performance coach. You work with athletes, dudes, guys on helping them get their mental mindset correct here. So, well, admittedly, AJ, I had a different discussion set up for today. I thought that the fact that Jacob's here, you're here, this would be a great chat to have. But before we get started, Zeglin, how you feeling, man? You joined us on Tuesday. You were kind of dragging your ass. You were feeling under the weather. How you feeling today, pal?
Thanks for checking in, man. I'm much better now. I had a couple days to recover. Yesterday, I threw in. It was first day back in the gym. I threw in a deep cheek day. And,
very nice, brother.
I feel like, man, there's something about the lower body training, as you guys know, that it's tough, but when
AJ, I was thinking about you. When you're done, I want to give you a little tidbit on the cheek training.
As soon as you're done, I feel like everything in the world just seems just a little bit better, like as soon as you're done the lower body day. So that was a turning point for me, man. I'm back. Feeling great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Johnny?
Oh, dude, I was doing the other day, I needed some leg training, but I was like, you know what? I'm in that mode where I need something to be really fucking challenging. And I don't want to put myself at risk. I could tell I was not quite recovered. So it's like, it's been a while since I front squatted. So not only I front squatted, but when I got to the bottom, I paused. And basically when I was coming out of the bottom, what I was doing is I was really giving the cheeks a good squeeze to get out of there. And brother, let me tell you, from about mid hamstring up to like the top side of my ass it's fucking feels amazing. Those muscle fibers so jacked up.
Well, and it's nice, AJ, that as he was coming up from the squat and he was clenching left and right, he was thinking about you, A and J, right? So you're being thought about. Andersen's down in the deep squat. He's thinking about you, Zeglin.
I'll be honest. I in the moment I wasn't thinking about AJ, but next time I guarantee I will. I can't help it now.
So guys, I got a great
compliment. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I got a great question for the three of you, and this one I'm excited to ask because I think we're all going to get three different answers, and I think it's going to be a really great one here. So Jacob, AJ, ears up. Johnny, ears up. What's the most common misconception about mental health among athletes? And how do we as society break through those barriers? AJ, let's start with you before we throw to Jacob.
Yeah, I think it's a classic one from my experience. Still the biggest misconception out there about mental health and pursuing help for it is that it's a weakness, right? And there's this perceived weakness, and it's getting better. I will say hockey in general, just the nature of a sport. It's a very it's a very tough sport. It's played by tough people. And it seems like to make progress in certain areas of hockey, it almost moves at like a glacial pace, so it is going in the right direction. It is 100%. But I mean, there's still some kind of carryover, I think, from the ways things used to be done, the way things used to be perceived. But it's getting there. But I would say that's the biggest hurdle still is it would still be perceived or viewed or people might have some sort of negative connotation towards it or associate it with some sort of weakness if they need help with their mental health.
Jacob?
Yeah, I would say that because they're professional and they're making, obviously at the NHL, the major levels, they're making millions of dollars, that people think they're more athlete than they are human, when in truth, they're more human than they are athlete. Kind of like I had mentioned earlier, that every single athlete, regardless of what sport they play, they're going to spend more time away from the rink, the arena, the field, the whatever, than they will at the arena, right? And I mean, just because they make money doesn't mean that all of their emotions are gone, doesn't mean that all of their previous life experiences are gone, right? And there's a lot of people that have, crazy stories that we know nothing about because of this misconception that, like AJ said, it's a weakness to talk about it, and I was in that world of hockey at the NHL level and then every level underneath it. And that's just one thing. Again, I know they're all more human and we have to give ourselves time and space to process through our emotions. And if we don't, it's going to bleed into the performance. And with hockey, there's such a salary cap, right? Unlike the other sports where they're up in the high 100 millions, $200 million salary cap. One other thing that has come to my attention in my times of having conversations with NHL players is that they don't know if they go and speak to the mental coach or whatever, if it's confidential or not. And as a result of that, I think not enough players are going and knocking on those doors. And so they just keep it all within, as the society tells us to do.
That's actually a thing still. Like, so that's actually a thing. So if I'm on the same team as John Andersen and John's my mental performance coach and I go talk to him, there's still this perception that John, the mental performance coach, is going to go tell Torts, my hockey coach, that Keith is soft and he's got some.
Brother, just real quick, those fucking locker rooms are brutal. It's not easy to survive in many locker rooms. You know, you let the wrong info. If you're not a really fucking confident dude of who you are, and some shit leaks out about your vulnerabilities, get fucking ready to be fucking hazed on that shit. And you got to have the mental fortitude to get through it. Especially an early player coming in, or whatever it is. I mean, I've been in 3 different settings, and when you're coming in, I mean, especially it's money. People don't want you to grab that top spot. They want their own fucking top spot. So if they have some fucking, and I know we're teammates here, but at the same time, there's a bit of mental warfare that goes on. I mean, I've never played in a mainstream, but I've been in my ventures, like wrestling locker rooms are fucking brutal. I mean, new guys would come in. And, luckily with me, it never happened because I came in there and I was ready to, you want to fuck with me. My thing was this: you do X to me, I'm going to do X times 2 back. Test me. You shit in my fucking boots, I'll shit on your face. and that's what kind of got me the room I needed. You know what I mean? But a guy that doesn't have that, that it's fucking scary sometimes. So I can understand where a guy is afraid to talk to someone on the team, or a psychologist or whomever, a counselor on the team, because they're afraid of what could get back out and they'd have to deal with that shit.
Is the shit happening, Jacob? AJ, is it happening?
Well, I mean, I think AJ would know a little bit more than me. This is just coming from conversations I've had with NHL players that I know. Yeah. I was willing to ask the questions, and not every single one said that, but I believe it is happening, but I don't know that it's happening.
Yeah. Age
to illustrate your point there, Jacob, with an example. So Keith, as you know, in the summers we have a lot of players come back and train with us over the course of the summer. So we have a athlete from and this just happened a year ago. So we have an athlete, this was just last summer, from that plays for another organization that came back here to train with us in the summer, and we were having a discussion about the mental performance stuff, because he knows, what I was doing and the work I was putting in on it and stuff. And he said at their organization, they had one, but he said the funny thing about it was the mental performance coach's office, or the therapist's office, was in the same hallway right next to the head coach's office. So no one wanted to go. No one wanted to be seen. No one wanted the coach to see them walking into that therapist's office. So guys were going and outsourcing their own people privately, because they didn't want people to know that they were walking into that room, and they specifically didn't want the head coach to see that they were walking in that room.
Because it's weakness. Okay, are we going to invest in this guy? He needs all this. He's all fucked up. He needs all this help. I mean, I would assume that's the perception that they're having. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the perception, and that's the fear. Yeah.
That's bullshit, though. Like, that's absolute bullshit.
Oh,
if you want to normalize it, put my fucking office next to the coach. Yeah, I'm a mental performance coach. Jacob, come see me, and I'm going to tell AJ you came and sat and talked to me.
Yeah,
like, come on, let's normalize the fucking thing. Jacob, I see you sitting there kind of stoic. What's your POV on this?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. If that office is right next to the coaches, I mean, there's just no way I'm going up there. There's no way, because in the end, whoever
I'm naive. Then you're telling me I'm naive because you're saying I'm just not going up there. Like, I'm saying, fuck Jacob, go. You're like, no, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be just not doing it.
Dude, I would avoid the fucking trainers because I didn't want to reveal how banged up I was.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going in to nurse something little, but you got something that's really coming down. You don't want the fucking office knowing about that shit.
Yeah.
Jacob.
And so I think so many players will then go and do that third party like AJ had brought up. And that's what I would do. I didn't necessarily have that option while I was over in Finland playing. I worked with the sports psychologist, and then it begs the question, well, who is this person that I'm speaking to? Just because they have this role, does that mean that I can necessarily trust them? Were they deeply vetted? I have no idea. And I just, I think there's, like AJ said, it is moving in the right direction. I do believe it is just unfortunately at a snail's pace. And I think there's too many one-off events and one-off days like Bell Let's Talk. I mean, that's great to have that one day, but we need it to be.
No, Bell Let's Talk is a fucking joke. Let's just make one day and corporatize it and monetize it so we can celebrate one day out of 365 and talk about mental health. No, mental health exists for 365 days, 24 hours a day, every single fucking second of my day. Yeah, this is a joke.
It is. And I remember during my career how many guys would stay at the rink for as long as they possibly could and talk as much crap as they did about their wife to just not go home. So there's marital problems. These guys need somebody to talk to about that.
Right, so I'm avoiding over there because I'm staying here because I never thought about that. How many guys hang out around the rink because they're avoiding what happens outside of the rink. And AJ, you and I have talked about so many times hanging out together over the years, the structure of an athlete.
Yeah.
Right. And when you remove that structure, how it fucks with your head.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, structure and identity, right? It's huge, right? You identify and you think that that's where all your value and all your worth is at in this world is as your job, as an athlete. And unfortunately, I know we're kind of slightly skipping over topics here, but all somewhat related, right? Eventually every athlete's career comes to an end, right? And you see a lot of guys, unfortunately, really struggle with that transition because that's what they identify so greatly with, right? Like their whole self-worth, their value, how they feel that they're useful and how they contribute to this world, they feel is just in that singular identity of the sport that they played, right? And the role that they played in that sport.
Jacob, AJ, throw the identity thing out. Has that been an issue for you I'm going to make an assumption. That's been a big issue for you from a young boy being assaulted by your cousin through your whole life. They want me to fight. I don't want to fight. I'm not a fighter. I'm stuck on the bench here. I'm going to make an assumption. Identity for you, you've been chasing your whole life. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And once I ended my career, back in 2020, I played in this summer league called 3 Ice. Which was an incredible opportunity. But I know for myself that I had such structure. Everything was laid out for me during my career, whether I was with Anaheim or I was over in Finland and Sweden playing, like everything was laid out. So I knew when to be at the rink. I knew, okay, we're going to practice at this time. We're going to weight lift at this time. I'm going to eat lunch at this time. Now that I'm outside of my career, I'm having to create that my own structure within my life. And at times it is a struggle. Like at times, no, I don't want to get up and do that. But I'm going to get up and do that. And that's where, you got to lean on the discipline more than the motivation, because the motivation is ever fleeting, and John, really quick, you had talked earlier on what was the wellness tip about being more selfish. And that's what I talk to my athletes about. Be more selfish, not being a bad teammate, but be selfish in how you show up for yourself and how you care for yourself. And if you're willing to do that, it opens the door up to you becoming more selfless and not feeling like your teammates are taken from you and like life is taken from you. So serve yourself first. And through that, it makes it easier to be selfless.
It's somehow people think that fucking focusing on yourself and self-improvement is selfish. And I covered that briefly. It's only because it's these fuckers who are wasting time everywhere and they're not gathering that time, saying no to the fucking bad shit so they can bring in the good shit so they can be better, so they can give more to the people that matter.
And going to AJ's point, when you don't have that self-identity, when you don't have that self-confidence within yourself, and this was the case for me, I got caught and lost in people-pleasing. I wanted my teammates to like me so bad, so I said yes, yes, yes to the nights out instead of just saying no and going home to my wife, cuddling and being better prepared for Monday. But I said yes every single time. And then I reflect back on my first year playing with, guys like Nick Bonino and Kyle Palmieri. These guys said no all the time. They just went home, played Xbox, maybe had a few drinks. And that Kyle Palmieri's consistently scoring over 30 goals. Nick Bonino's winning a Stanley Cup because they had intention and they had focus. And that's what I lacked.
And dude, when I went into a new locker room, first thing I was fucking doing was looking for those guys that were already saying no, because I was trying to get on their fucking boat. Oh, I wanted to get on their fucking train because you're new, you're brought in as a fucking heavy hitter. Everybody wants to go out and have a beer. you know, and it's like, you know, hey, this is what makes me me. And unfortunately, that is not part of it on any regular basis.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Billis, John Andersen, Jacob Newton, AJ Zegler here. Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to get you guys out of bed here. 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We're wrapping up our conversation with Jacob and AJ. I do have a last question for Jacob I want to throw on the table for you, Jacob, which is, Jacob, if you could send one message back to your younger self, skating onto the ice, because we've all seen them Zegler, those guys getting the first time on the ice, you know, what's that thing you're saying to yourself if you're reflecting back as you're skating around that first time on that first pro game, Anaheim, San Jose, you're looking back? What's the one message you're saying to yourself, Jacob?
Holy jumping. Doing what I do now, knowing what I know now, as we've talked, so much of our life is predicated by what goes on up here. It would just be telling myself to be in control, be the active thinker. The negativity, the negative neurosis is going to find a way to creep in. Tune into your breath to calm and slow the mind down, and then pump yourself up with some thoughts that are going to make you feel good, because our thoughts are energy, our words are energy, everything is energy. And we got to get all of those different things working for us against opposed to working against us. So I think that's it.
Yeah. So good.
AJ, I know this segment was a little different today with Jacob on the show.
This is great.
We had such energy coming in here. You guys got to connect. I feel like it's my purpose to connect you two, because you guys are kind of the same human. Like I'm listening to Jacob talk. Jacob, I've known AJ a long time. AJ's been a massive human in my life. It's changed parts of my life together. You guys need to connect. You guys got to connect. Maybe you got to do business together, but you guys drinking the same Kool-Aid, the mental performance side of things. And again, I'm just going to speak naively. It still fascinates me today how many humans can't connect. The outside performance that we all have starts here, right? Like my success as a business person is nowhere without what's happening up here. And my awareness around it is so intentional. And that's why I think John and I get along so well, because we talk about it every single day. And if I'm not good up here, nothing else matters. So Jacob, what you're talking about, brother, is so real. AJ, some final comments from you, brother, before we say goodbye?
Yeah, just thanks for having me on as usual. Thanks for making this connection. I was a step ahead when I was sitting backstage in the green room. I jumped in and I heard a few minutes of the conversation. When you put me into the show, I was actually on my phone Googling Jacob, reading up about him.
Very nice.
I was like, oh man, this seems like a guy that I would really like to reach out to.
Yeah. So I'm going to suspect you guys might even know some complimentary people behind the scenes. There's probably some guys you guys know together. I'm guarantee it. And then last thing, Johnny, I think you've noticed it like I have, because producer Jimmy has. Zeglin, you got a new haircut going on there or what, brother?
Yeah, I did get a little trim. I got a little trim. I have some presentations and stuff tomorrow. We got a big day tomorrow. It's our Project 11 Mental Health Day here for tomorrow.
Yes.
So I'm one of the presenters at that, and then on Sunday we have I have a big presentation at our AGM for the counselors and psychologists from the CCPA. So
that's brilliant. Brilliant. Jacob Newton works in Business Athlete Nation, Mornings in the Lab Nation. Find you, connect with you, get more from you. Here's your chance to talk about how everybody can connect with Jacob Newton while we do it ourselves, but I want to hear from you as well, bro.
Yeah. So, I'm on LinkedIn at Jacob Newton. You'll see my business symbol. It looks like a brain. NewtonsMind. My slogan is take back your power. You can find me on Instagram. I deleted my old personal page, now just trying to focus in on the business side, and it's NewtonsMind 55 on there. Facebook is, Jacob Newton, but, I'm not really on there much. But, again, the breathwork certification I have as well is something that I use a lot with my athletes, and I know how pivotal that is, not just for peak performance, but also for recovery as well. So, the different social channels is where you can find me. Or reach out. I'll give you my email too, Keith, and
beautiful.
Maybe pass that along to AJ as well.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to reset the second hour here. AJ is going to make his way out of here. Johnny's going to probably take a quick little break. Jacob, you're welcome to stick around for the next half an hour if you like. If you got to rock and roll, you can rock and roll as well. We got a free flowing show here. I got a couple topics to throw on the table here, but if you want to stay, you're welcome to. If not, I know you and I we got a coffee session later this morning as well.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah, you and I do. Yeah, we're on the calendar for a little coffee later this morning. You accepted it. So, yeah, we're going to grab a coffee later. Yeah.
Okay.
True story.
What time is that? I thought that was just this. What time is that at?
Maybe noon or something. It's on the calendar. I don't know. It was something we were going to grab a little coffee and catch up. But can you stick around right now, or do you got to rock and roll?
Yeah, why don't I stick around right now, because I won't be able to. I wasn't. I thought this was that. My apologies. I'm
No.
with
All good. All good.
Brother, you sound like me. That tech stuff just fucks me up. Don't this whole calendar thing. This calendar thing confuses the hell out of me. You got to text me and say this is the time.
Hey, well, listen, we're gonna reset because I got a topic, guys. I got a secret. Most men over 40 don't know this. Some research, new fitness secret, going to share with you guys. So let's do a quick little reset. Johnny, you want to step away for a quick second? AJ, you out of here, brother?
I'm ready.
Thanks, guys.
See you later,
AJ, great to see you, brother.
Yeah, great to see you guys. Nice to meet you, Jacob.
All right. AJ's out of here. John's going to take a quick little break. Jimmy, we're going to reset the second hour of the show here, and I got something to get on the table for you guys. Listen, first hour was awesome, guys. We started the show. We asked the question whether we are in a simulation. But come on. I know this is not the core things we talk about on the show, but the reality is we might be in a simulation. So John and I had some fun with it. We talked about tragedy. We talked about getting forward in life. We talked about, getting up, getting moving. And then we welcomed Jacob Newton into the lab. And we've had Jacob in for the last 45 minutes talking mental performance and the power of what happens up here to move us forward out there. So I would invite you, if you haven't listened, go back and listen to the top of the hour here. Great conversation. Lady Drew, I see you there. Rick, Clody, AJ, and Jacob, dynamic duo. I agree, Clody. I think between the two of them there, man, they might just kind of go and turn the whole National Hockey League around. Would be a great thing. But all right, Jimmy, let's keep it rolling here. I got a couple things I want to get into here. I got to, and it's interesting because Jacob threw this out here about this idea of saying no more often than yes. And Jimmy, why don't we let's do this here? I'm going to start with this monologue here before we get to our reloaded conversation. I will get this rocking and rolling here, and it's a topic that is around. I stopped saying yes, and here's why it made me happier. And I thought that the timing of this is spectacular because Jacob alluded to it, Johnny alluded to it. And I have had to take some time in my life to do this as well because, Jacob, I used to be the guy who said yes to everything, yes to every meeting, every favor, every opportunity, thinking that saying yes would make me more successful, more liked and respected. And guess what? It actually did the opposite. Yeah, true story. So today, I'm going to share why embracing no actually brought more happiness and clarity into my life and how it can be the same way for you. Again, Jacob talked about it. Johnny talked about it, and I had a breaking point. It all started a few years ago. My calendar was packed. My energy was totally depleted. Friends called me the busy guy, right? But truthfully, I was exhausted. I was unhappy. But the pure pressure of you got to do this, you got to do that. And I realized I was building everyone else's dream. And I was figuring out everybody else's priorities except for my own. I was like, what the fuck, man? That's their priorities, not my priorities, right? I had hit my breaking point. I knew something had to change. So I learned about the power of saying no. And when I started saying no, it felt uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, it even felt selfish from time to time. But here's the surprising thing. Saying no gave me back control over my time. I know it seems obvious, but when you do it, it's quite magical. And it clarified what was actually important. Again, we talk about it often. Look at your calendar, plan your week out, plan how much time you actually have for yourself based on your decisions instead of somebody else's decisions. Think about the email somebody's going to send to you today because they couldn't get their schedule right, because they fucked up. Yeah, their priority has now become your priority. Really, right? So I created the space to say yes to the right opportunities, to the right people, to the right business, the ones truly aligned with my values, my goals, my priorities. Suddenly, I was building a life I genuinely loved. So the three big things that changed. Here's what happened when I embraced no. And I'm going to love to hear Jacob's comments on this as well, and Johnny's. Better relationships. Boom. Jacob talked about, am I going to go out and chase booze and chase girls, or am I going to go home and hang out with my wife and play Xbox because I got to get ready for the game tomorrow? The better relationships. Better friends, and real colleagues, respecting my boundaries. As John talked about, finding guys in the locker room that associated with his values instead of somebody else's values, that would respect his boundaries, right? And that's the key word, finding friends, finding people that will respect your boundaries, not trying to pull you towards their lack of boundaries, right? And then the quality replaced the quantity. I became closer with people who genuinely valued me. John Andersen, I spend time with him every single day. I get the feeling, I know how he values me, and I know he can tell how I value him. So it's quality over quantity, right? And then professional growth. Saying no allowed me to focus on high impact projects. My business didn't suffer; it thrived. I seriously thrived. Revenue increased because my energy went towards meaningful, profitable work. And you know where it all started? Up here, intention and awareness. And then lastly, guys, I had that personal fulfillment. I felt more authentic. I was myself. I was aligned. I was satisfied. I was living my life. Yeah, not someone else's agenda. Stress dropped dramatically and happiness took its place. So I invite you to think about this. How to say no without guilt. Here's the tricky part. Actually saying no is difficult. However, keep it short and respectful. Don't over-explain. You don't owe an explanation to anybody. It's your life. Clarity is going to beat that complexity. And listen, remind yourself that every no you give is a yes to something more meaningful to you, not to somebody else. So today, I challenge you, guys, find one thing you've been tempted to say yes to, but deep down, you know you shouldn't. There's a meeting on your calendar. Say no to it, because it's going to get in the way of your priorities. Trust me, your future self's going to thank you for this. Jimmy, let's bring the boys back up and continue this conversation. Jacob, as you heard me going through this, what are some things that jumped out for you?
Saying yes chronically is a form of self-betrayal.
Saying yes chronically is a form of self-betrayal. Is that not the truth?
Because I think, so often we want to say no, but again, we're caught. When you don't have that self-identity, you're going to say yes because you think the only way that you can fit in, that the only way you can be accepted and loved is by pleasing them. And every time, and it's not every time, sometimes you do want to say yes, so you say, but I would say the majority of the time you're actually wanting to say no. But I think all too often we create these stories in our minds about what these people are, how they're going to react, how they're going to perceive our no, and that causes discomfort within us. So we wind up saying yes, and then that leads to internal displeasure with yourself, not being happy with yourself,
What do you say to Jacob, to somebody that says, you're being selfish, Jacob, because you're taking care of yourself first?
I say thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Right?
I mean, and again, because me saying no to this person, their response or reaction or how they receive and perceive that has nothing to do with me. It's going to get filtered through their own subconscious mind, which I have nothing to do with. And so if I don't know them personally and they don't know me personally, I owe it to myself to not take it personally.
Yeah. Oh, that's gold, man. That's absolutely gold. Johnny, comments this before we get to the next topic here, brother?
Yeah, just saying no is like, it's tough to start because anytime you're doing something first, it's always, it's uncomfortable and we have to get okay with that. But I think like no has basically became one of my superpowers because
Yes.
I recognized that every time I said no, that, and granted, sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it's really hard to understand what to say no to. But generally speaking, there's so many more things to say no to. You're going to say 90% of the time you're saying no to the right shit. Once in a while, you might make a mistake and that's going to come with it. But bottom line is, when you become one with saying no, it becomes a way of life. And on that level, just for everybody to understand, when you start doing this, you got to realize that you're basically teaching people, how your boundaries. So like perfect example, when I first started saying no, all of a sudden, probably a few years later, all my buddies stopped to invite me to do shit because they knew what the fucking answer was going to be.
Yeah.
So was I going to get all butthurt over that? No. Fuck, it was my choice, for Christ's sake. So when you say no and you feel like people are not paying attention to you, they're not really not paying attention to you. They just know what you're going to say. So own it and keep moving forward.
Jacob, how do we say no to our kids?
Oh, Oh, that's tough. I think there's obviously a constructive way to do it. I think,
Yeah.
you say no with kindness, gentleness, respect, and love.
Yeah.
Instead of belittling them, just get them to understand this is a no, and then perhaps explaining the why behind it.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the key,
Because if
isn't
they
it?
don't, yeah, because if they don't understand, when it comes to our kids, you got to care a little bit more. You got to care a little bit deeper and understand that you're forming them, you're shaping them, you're programming their minds. So I've learned on my parenting journey, like especially if I go to a park, take my kids to a park, I'm going to let them go and explore. And I'm going to let them climb on the shit that other parents won't let them climb on, because they're navigating their own life, their own journey. I don't want my story to become their story necessarily. When they need help, they will ask me for it. But I'm going to rob them of an opportunity to find out more about themselves if I'm chasing them around the park saying, no, don't do here, don't climb this, don't climb there. Let them be. When they need help, they will let you know, and then you can step in. But I just pay attention to parents and how anxious they are. They are just like, they're ticking time bombs.
Dude,
and I just
love it,
know that I don't want to be that. Because that's then going to project onto your child, and then your child's going to have the same anxiety that you have and the same depression that you have,
I love that, and in my mind, I had to create some sort of a framework for it. You know what I mean? Because I'm all about systems. If I don't have a system, I find myself in the fucking corner like Rain Man. Who's on first? Who's on first? If everything's laid out and my system's working, great. If it's not working, I alter it. But everything's a system. So with the whole thing with the kids, like you're saying, what in my mind, my framework was, my system was, I'm going to only step in and say no when what they're doing has the potential to change the trajectory of their life, which I'm working so fucking hard to keep where I want it to be. And so kind of to a certain extent, like you're saying on the playground, I need them to fucking fall and take those lumps, But now all of a sudden, let's just say that one of them found their way to the top of a fucking 100-foot tree and they're hanging out a little. No, okay, we gotta stop that one. But you're on top of the 10-foot play structure. Yeah, take that swan dive. It's gonna hurt, but we'll be okay. So I remember as a parent trying to find how the fuck do I make this work, and that's how I kind of came to that space where I felt like I could do a good job and still basically manage the nose, if you will.
Jacob, I think your answer in many ways creates awareness for me and maybe for you and John and our listeners, which is saying no to our kids is a way to teach them what we're talking about today. Because if we don't teach them that now, they're going to grow up and they're going to perpetuate the yes, 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 yes. So it's sitting down and saying no to your son or your daughter, explaining why. And then as Johnny always says, it's not what you tell your kids, it's how you show your kids, right?
Yeah,
so you show, teaching them the power of no so that they can say yes to the things that are important to them. Because let's face it, guys, we've all been through peer pressure, and it still exists even in our 40s and our 50s, right? That peer pressure is eating that teenager up. If you can teach them the power of no, man, the confidence you're giving that child, Jacob.
When as a kid, God damn it, I guess you'd put bluntly, there are so many things that need to be, that you have to say no to as a parent, which does translate to a kid, because if a kid operates in the yes world, he's in fucking big trouble, because there's so many things that could potentially take him or her off track so quickly. Yes. You think there's so many, especially now with social media. Thank God most of my kid raising was when that just without it, but we're fucking fighting to be the voice in their ears. And if it's not our fucking voice, it's somebody else's. And the odds are that fucker doesn't have the shit that we have in terms, or definitely not the same interest or intention to raise our kids like we do.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, experiencing what I experienced as a child, it's hard for me to trust people with my kids. And so a lot of times my kids want to go for sleepovers, and it's a no for me until I know these people, right? And my abuse came at the hands of family, and if I can't trust family, who in the hell can I trust?
Yeah,
it's wild.
I love when you say that, brother, because we're the same way. We say, look, you can have your friends come over here. But their friends would only come over once because we didn't have all the shit in the house for food that they were used to. It's like, I don't want to go to your house. You don't have anything to eat. We have plenty to eat. It's just not fucking in a box.
Yeah. And my kids know I've said no enough to the shitty food, the ultra processed foods, the ice creams, the cookies, to where they have stopped asking. Of course, I still have the times where I'm going to take them out and get them ice cream. I don't want them to be too rigid, that 80-20, 90-10 rule, whatever. But it's gotten to the point where, they pretty much stop asking. Now it's more of a surprise.
And it's not in the house, correct? So they can't just go fucking find it when they need it. Yeah, fuck yes.
Yeah.
And that right there is one of the things that you can't say to your kids that, don't eat this as you're fucking eating a Snickers. Fuck. You got to not eat the Snickers yourself. You got to show them how to shop. You got to show them how to live. And when, I love what you're saying, brother. Fucking good shit.
Yeah. And I've got snacks at home, but it's going to be better for you snacks. I've got
string cheese, shit like,
beef jerky, the little cheese crisps, lots of Greek yogurt and things. And so it's gotten to the point with my son where he will literally eat anything I eat. And he never sees me relatively eating the crap. And I stay fit, and I want my kids to struggle keeping up with me, and I can't do that if I'm crushing, Big Macs every day.
All right, I got something for the both of you guys. We're going to keep the conversation moving along here as we work on getting towards the bottom of the second hour here. But guys, here's something both you guys, I want you guys to pay attention to, and everybody paying attention right now to the show. Most men over 40 are missing this fitness secret I'm going to reveal. Now, we've all heard it. Jacob, Johnny, your grip strength, push-up count, or ability to deadlift your body weight could hint at how long and how well you might live. But guys, found something. What if I told you there's something even more powerful than, power itself? It's time to talk about muscle power, not just strength or mass. There's an emerging metric that's turning heads in the world of performance, longevity, and healthy aging. And here's the kicker, guys. It might just be the most important predictor of how we age. Now, muscle power is your ability to generate force quickly. Jacob, you can relate to this as a hockey player. Think of it as strength with speed. And it's what allows you to spring out of a chair, sprint across the street, get up off the toilet quickly, or catch yourself from falling. It's not just about being strong. John, we talk about it all the time here. It's about being fast and functional. And guess what? This isn't just gym science, it's brain science too. Power relies on your neuromuscular system, your brain's ability to fire up your muscles at lightning speed. As we age, the system gets sluggish unless we train it. Now, here's the key point, guys. Researchers have now coined a new term for the loss of muscle power. It's called Powerpenia. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but so was sarcopenia before it went mainstream. Now, here's why Powerpenia matters. Power declines, Johnny, Jacob, as we get older, declines faster and earlier than strength or muscle size. Power is more closely tied to the things that keep us independent. Think about balance, think about walking, think about stair climbing, think about even cognitive health. And when it comes to preventing falls and maintaining quality of life, power beats strength every time. So let's break it down. Sarcopenia, loss of muscle mass. Dynapenia, loss of muscle strength. Powerpenia equals the loss of muscle power, strength times speed. And guys, until recently, most doctors and researchers lumped strength and power together. They've realized it was a big mistake. Strength and power are not twins. They're more like cousins. One moves the heavy box, the other catches the box before it crashes to the floor. And according to a review of over 220 studies, only 2 actually measured muscle power to assess decline, despite its stronger link to aging outcomes. And that's been a huge blind spot that we're finally starting to correct. And guys, even older adults can improve power with the right training and the right results. Again, we talk about functional training, right? Power training isn't just Olympic lifts and box jumps. John, you talk about this all the time. Standing up from a chair or the toilet as fast as possible. Lightweight resistance, kettlebell swings, focusing on things that move your body strong and fast together. Speed plus intent equals power, even if the weight is light. And as
in the strength world, they say speed is power.
There you go. And as we age, we tend to stop doing explosive movements. Think about it, right? How many 70, 80-year-olds are getting out of the chair quick? When the reality is, if we're focusing on sprinting, quick transitions, it's going to lead, if we don't do that, it's going to lead to an early decline of neuromuscular function, right? So the reality is that as we age, we want to focus more than anything on strength and speed at the same time. The proposal from the scientific community is clear. Powerpenia should be its own biomarker, just like sarcopenia and dynapenia. It's a signal of how well you're likely to age, not just how long you'll live, but how independently you'll live. I love this. And it's not just about getting older. Even people with diseases like diabetes or Parkinson's lose power faster than strength. So whether you're 40 or 80 or an athlete or not, staying mobile, staying functional, this is a metric that matters. And what's the best way to protect yourself? Pick a power move weekly. Do things that will get you going fast. Get up off the chair quickly. Move quickly. Doing things more quicker than you have in the past will perhaps help you age better and increase your longevity. Guys, thoughts on this? Jacob, thoughts on this? And here's what I liked about it with you, Jacob, is that this Powerpenia methodology clearly connects what happens up here to what happens functionally, right? You can be strong, but if you can't make it active, if you can't make it happen fast, you're actually not aging very well. Thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the systems in place, the society we live in, everybody gets so caught and lost in the number of how old they are, not realizing that you don't necessarily get old. So many people just stop movement. They stop moving because of a particular age, thinking, no, I shouldn't be weightlifting. I shouldn't be sprinting. Like, I think there was some study done about how often people will sprint after the age of 35.
Oh,
and it's
crazy.
Like, it's crazy. Like
very little
of people will ever sprint again, and how insanely good that is for you, cardiovascular system, testosterone for men. So yeah, I think so much of it is, again, don't fall victim to this number. Keep yourself moving for as long as you possibly can. I go to these steps here in Cleveland that go up 95 feet. It's like 156 steps in total. I bring dumbbells out there. I'll take the weight up. I'll take it down. I'll go through some different exercises. But I'll never lose sight of the 75-year-old man that's right there with me every step of the way doing it. And it just blows my mind that this guy goes up and down 20 times. He doesn't take weight. He doesn't need to take weight. But he's 75 years old and he's moving like he was 35. And it's just incredible to watch. So
he's keeping it. You don't fucking use it, you lose it, Yeah. And you can get it back too. Like, it's crazy for people that have been, I call it, if you've been 10 years on your heels, the last 10 years you've been living on your heels, got to get on your toes, right? You got to start fucking moving more supple. Start jumping fucking rope. I mean, even if you don't even use the fucking rope, just start bouncing. I mean, just bounce 60 times. 1, 2, 3. All of those fucking muscles and those fast twitch fibers and that thing that disappeared because we're not moving that way reappears pretty fucking quickly. And once it's there, you got to develop it and keep it.
All right, guys, there you go. So listen, Lady Drew, I see your comments there. I dropped into the comments there. Those terms, you got sarcopenia, loss of muscle mass, dynapenia, loss of muscle and strength, and powerpenia, loss of muscle plus power. All right, Jimmy, there's the bottom of the hour, the 9:30 Eastern time sound effect. Jacob Newton, you have been very grateful with your time. I don't think you expected you to be co-hosting the entire show with Keith and Johnny today.
I did not, but guys, it's been one hell of a time. I wasn't expecting the energy coming in that we've all experienced here today. So so much gratitude and love for you both. I appreciate your time and energy, and hell, maybe we'll do it again. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Dude, I love your story. I got nothing but props, respect. I could sit and chat with you all day. I love to use the word love. We use it here on the show as well. We're not afraid to say it. It's not uncommon for me to send a testimony, but to AJ, hey, I love you, man. Right. I love how vulnerable you are, Jacob, and I love how real you are. And I applaud your journey. I applaud the example you are for your kids. I applaud the example you are for other men out there. And I applaud all the work you're doing to help men see through your story that maybe a story that they have had, that you can help them tell it. You're going to make me kind of get emotional here because There's a lot of men out there that have experienced what you've experienced, but don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And knowing that they can talk to a guy like yourself or AJ is powerful. And I hope that through the work that you do, the work that AJ does, you guys can change those mindsets in the locker rooms. I really do, man, because it's got to stop for your kids, my kids, Johnny's kids, so they can grow up and feel safe having conversations like we did here today all the time, Jacob Newton.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say it's a little bit easier for a man to open up to a woman, but if you really want to test yourself, open up to another man, because again, so many men have that misconception that it is weakness. So if you open up to a man and you get a good group of men around you that can, keep you accountable, call you forward, hold space for you when necessary, give you a hug. And I love that you guys use that word love, because I was talking about it the other day on my social media, that men need to be told by men that they love them. Our love isn't just reserved for women. It's also reserved for men. And we need to tell more men that we love them. We need to have good men around us, and that there's so many good men out there that are just lost. They're wounded and distracted.
Yes.
And having conversations like this, it's going to move the needle. We just need it moving faster so that more men don't have to take their own lives. More men don't have to kill other people.
Yes.
I view all of those things as tipping points. My tipping point was always going to be me driving drunk. I drove drunk so many times, but my tipping point was never going to lead to me repeating sexual abuse or driving drunk and getting crashed or getting pulled over. Other people's tipping points is them killing somebody or killing themselves or sexually abusing somebody. But underneath all of that is a little boy, right? Is a little boy that just needs safety. He needs to be understood. He needs to be seen. He needs to be heard. And we don't get enough of that in society today. So men, it's okay to cry, but cry and keep moving.
Dude, your courage is admirable. And you know what I love about this conversation, and John and I laugh about it all the time. We know this show is judged by the book like its cover. You look at me, you look at Johnny, you look at Marty, like, what the fuck? And then you start hearing us talk. We start talking about feelings. We start talking about love. Johnny's lip quivers. I get emotion in my eyes. We're like, oh, these guys are actually real men who cry. Yeah. Wait, but we still like to fuck our wives. We still like to be a man. We still like to, have be a man. But at the end of the day, emotion is where it starts first, right? So
I don't even follow that up with I like to fuck my wife. Yeah, I'm shedding a tear. You got a fucking problem?
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't need to fucking justify shit, Maybe I don't like to fuck my wife. I still like to fucking cry. You got a fucking problem?
And I think it's understanding that problem isn't your problem. That is the other person.
Yes, exactly, bro. That's what I say. You got a problem,
Yeah.
And we got good times.
One last story.
Please.
I was training at a gym as I was preparing for that summer league again. It wound up getting postponed, but I was at a gym because I want to be able to do, hip mobility, end range strength, things of that nature. And I was running backwards up on the track. I was going against the flow because I wanted everybody to be able to see me as I was sprinting backwards. And there was this one guy, big headphones on, texting like crazy. He's like, you're going against the flow, right? I said, yes, brother, I do. And I just continued on. I passed him again. He said, well, what's going to happen if I'm not paying attention and you run into me? I said, well, I'm not going to run into you. Continued on. I passed him again. He says, I need you to understand that if you run into me, we're going to have a problem. And I said, brother, your problem isn't with me. And just continued on. He didn't say another word. So, man, everybody's in a constant state of projection. When they're feeling love, they're going to project it out. When they're feeling bitterness, anger, frustration, they're going to project it out. And in both cases, it relatively has nothing to do with you. So don't absorb that energy.
Jacob, your energy is contagious, man. People say my energy and John's energy. Your energy is contagious. Like Johnny, I find myself just not wanting to let this guy go. I'm like, no, you can't go.
Well, you got to fucking let me go. So I'm 15 minutes late. Fuck.
All right, we got to get Johnny out of here. We got Lauren come with some comments, and before one last good time. I tell my friends I love them, but they don't know how to react. But I always tell them I love them. Jacob, we love you, man. Thanks for coming on the show. And dude, you have a chair on this show whenever you want. Let's stay in touch. And listen, I know we don't have our meeting later today. I'm going to send you a note. I want to do a one-on-one with you after the show sometime later this week, okay?
100%. I don't have my kids this weekend, so it's a perfect time for it too.
Awesome. Jacob, take care, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jacob.
Love you guys.
Stay well. Love you too. I'll take care. You too.
All right. Bye.
Johnny, I know you got to rock and roll, man, but I got a quick 30 seconds. That was awesome, man. Holy fuck, was that awesome. I want to be one of the greatest guests, actually.
Yeah, he brought a lot of good shit to the table. It was really cool.
It was really great. Okay, we had a great show, great conversation. It went way overtime. You got to go. You go take your piss. You get on with your day. I'm going to work towards wrapping it up with a quick little conversation on the community corner with Jimmy, and we're going to get after it tomorrow, brother.
See you. Have a good loop, brother. See you in the morning.
All right, well, take care. Johnny's out of here, guys. I'm going to reset the bottom of the hour, too, here. Yeah, had a lot of things to talk about here today, but we're on the conversation with Jacob, and I can see by the audience you guys were enjoying it as much as we were. So I appreciate you guys sticking around and tuning into that. Jimmy, I know we had a topic about 5 winning habits of the world's top performers. I'm going to move that to tomorrow or to Monday. And I know that folks like to tune in regularly, so you guys can wait for that one. What we're going to do now is we're going to get to the community corner. You know what's great is my calendar just opened up 2 spots today. I had a guy just cancel me this morning. He's like, yeah, I got something coming up. I'm like, all right, now Jacob's not going to meet with me today. Lady Drew, you hung out for the whole hour. I appreciate you. I appreciate your comments, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get to all of them, but I like that. You know, with me, I respect gentlemen that share their emotions and feelings. Lady Drew, I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging out with us, your comments, your engagement. This show doesn't happen without great community. And the community starts with all of you guys. So I really, really appreciate that. Good time. My baby Lauren, all you guys out there, fantastic feedback and fantastic conversation with Jacob. Okay, Jimmy, I'm pulling up our creator spotlights in the community corner. And we're going to start today over on Substack. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. We got some great content dropping on Substack later today, I think. If I can get what? Now that I had an hour free up from a couple of meetings that aren't going to happen, I now have some time to get onto that here today. But today we're going to spend time shining a light on somebody who talks like this. And it's all about starting with a dream. Write what you love. Building a loyal audience. Getting paid for your work. Oh, imagine that. But reality kicks harder than that because you burn time on content that doesn't convert, but at least you're trying. You juggle a dozen platforms chasing growth that just never shows up. You end up stuck in the cycle of working harder, getting nowhere. That's when you need someone who actually cracked it. Someone who's built systems at scale. Someone who knows the difference between noise and traction. Someone who helps creators escape the hamster wheel without losing their voice, like Uncle Keith did earlier this week. Oh, yeah. So who's that person? Well, this morning, Morning Lab with Keith and Friends is really excited to introduce you to Philip Hofmacher. Hope I did it right, Philip. Digital entrepreneur, community builder, and one of the creators behind Write, Build, Scale on Substack. Now, this guy is not a content guy. No, Johnny would love this guy. He's a systems guy with heart, and he's helped thousands of creators go from scattered efforts to sustainable income, workshops, live streams, breakdowns that actually break things down. Now, Philip just doesn't teach strategy. No, he builds momentum through movement. And if you're stuck in creator chaos right now, Philip's the guy you want in your corner. So I invite you guys, go check out Philip's Substack. Write, Build, Scale on Substack. The guy's not a content guru. The guy's got a system with a heart, and he can help you. And Philip, here's how it works, brother. We'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to invite you on the show so I can hand you the Morning in the Lab Creator Spotlight, the light, and shine it on somebody in your world, your orbit, your community, so we can pay this entire experience forward. Okay, Jimmy, there we go. We got the Substack one done. Yes. And not to rush through it. No, I love doing these things, man. I love celebrating, because here's the best part. We do these things, we put them out there, and people get surprised. Oh, hey. I'm like, yeah, celebrating you. That's how you build community. You give back. Give back. John Kraske would say, you give back. We got the Kraske Live in the Lab episode launching next week. Wednesday the 16th is the plan. It's supposed to be Wednesday the 9th, but sometimes time gets in the way. I had to say no to a bunch of things I was saying yes to. Yeah, true story. All right. You're out there, you're building. You're trying to find the words. You're trying to make sense of all of the chaos. But then somewhere between the product and the pitch, it starts to feel like you're speaking a language that no one understands, no one gets. That is when you need someone who I'm going to introduce you to today. A creator who does not just talk strategy. A creator who shows you what it looks like to be in motion. A writer who takes complexity and makes it feel like common sense. And no, we're not talking about ChatGPT. No, Jimmy, we're not talking about Claude. No, Jimmy, we're not even talking about Gemini. No, we're talking about someone who's built real things, a real human. Yeah, earned real trust and stayed grounded through it all. The guy doing it quietly and doing it well. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Well, he shares a wonderful name with old Uncle Keith. His name is Jimmy. It is Keith Hawkins. Yeah. The founder of, wow, kind of a name from my old world, Carrot. Is it Carrot X or Carrot? Carrot X, the trusted definition for diamonds, gems, and go-to market clarity. Hey, Keith, I got to have you on the show so you can teach me how to pronounce, is it Carrot X or is it Carrot? Because from my old world, we call this company Carrot. But anyways, he's the founder of the LSHO Art Gallery, where abstract luxury carries real meaning. And he's the author of The Signal Fire, landing May 2025. Now, listen, Keith, not me, nope, Hawkins, doesn't post to impress. He writes to connect with you. His content reads like a conversation you didn't know you needed. So if you're creating something real and trying to make it land, his work is going to meet you in the middle. Jimmy, in the middle, is that the accent? His work will meet you in the middle of that mess and hand you a flashlight. Now I invite you, look him up, read his work, check him out, follow him up. Keith Hawkins on LinkedIn. Go check him out. Carrot X. And Keith, we want to have you in the lab, brother, so you can teach me how to say the name of your company. Tell us about diamonds and surprise somebody in your world who we can shine the creator spotlight community corner on in the future. All right. Ah. Oh, man. Well, Jimmy, are we done? We got Lady Drew still hanging on. Lady, you're still here. Awesome. I'm 62 years young. I always keep my mind and body in excellent shape. Dude, that's awesome. Lady, you're 10 years older than I am. Well, 10. My goal is to be just like you as I get to 62. So keeping my mind sharp, my body in excellent shape, getting after my lifts. So I always said I'll be lifting in the gym till I'm 100. Why not? It's just like that non-rule. Keith, you're brushing your teeth at 80? Well, of course I am. Oh, so I'm going to lift at 80, right? It's all part of the whole same thing. Okay, Jim, what do you think? Should we get the hell out of here? Should we get to work? Because this is not work. No, this is just fun. We're just having conversations. So right now, as I'm looking at you guys, I'm looking at my text box right here to get permission from Jimmy to get the hell out of here. And I'm just waiting. Oh, he wants more. All right, let's see what else I got more here today for. Haha. I think we got to everything on the agenda here, Jimmy. We talked about being in a simulation this morning. Do you guys think we're in a simulation? Could you imagine if we were? Could you imagine if somebody just pulled the plug? Hey, simulation's over. Holy fuck, we're all dead. Yeah. It could be like Westworld. Hey, Jimmy, Westworld. All right, we talked about simulation. We talked about procrastinating. Who's going to procrastinate today? Lady Drew, are you procrastinating today? Good time, you procrastinating today? My lovely wife procrastinated for the first hour of her day today. Yes, baby, I know you're listening. Yeah. Jimmy, the alarm went off. And then an hour later, I heard footsteps. An hour later, I heard those footsteps. Yeah. So I think that it was an hour of procrastination. It was an hour of figuring out what happens next. So if you're procrastinating today, I would invite you to think about the other PR word, which is being productive. So put the procrastination aside and get after the productivity. That might be something you want to get after today. We talked with Jacob Newton. The guy is a stud. Yeah, from pro hockey player to mindfulness coach. The guy has it all figured out. Well, maybe not all figured out. Sounds like he's got a lot figured out. Vulnerable, honest, authentic, telling a story. I invite you to go back and listen to the whole show here about that. He is a wonderful human being. Dropped nothing but nuggets through the whole show. Valuable advice, sharing his story, and hopefully inspiring you to get through your journey as well. What else we get to, Jimmy? Stop saying yes. We talked about that here today as well. Some of you guys are going to go through your day today, and you're going to be faced with decisions, faced with choices. And your natural response is going to be say, yes, yes, yes. I'll do that. Yeah, sure. Yep. Yes, 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 yes. When the reality is every yes you're saying is preventing you from saying yes to what you really want to do. So today I invite you to consider when somebody asks you to do something today, it's okay. But ask yourself, is it for their priorities or your priorities? Is it hitting your goals or their goals? If somebody's late because they didn't get their obligations done and then they've put the task on your plate so you can get it done for them, is that really what you want? So ask yourself, are you saying yes to yourself or are you saying no to somebody so you can say yes to yourself? It's funny. It's interesting. Saying yes is, saying no doesn't have to be selfish. We talked about that today as well. And then we talked about, most men over 40 are missing this fitness secret. We got into this conversation about 3 terms we want to start paying more attention to. Sarcopenia, loss of muscle mass. Dynapenia, loss of muscle strength. And here's the big one. Powerpenia, loss of muscle power, strength plus speed. So guys, if you're strong, great. But if you can't move your strength with speed, you're not great, right? So focus when you get out of the couch today, get up faster. Don't diddle-dally. When you get off the toilet after you go to the can today, get off faster. Don't get off slowly, right? Don't be afraid to do a sprint. Just because you're 50, 60, 70 doesn't mean you can't sprint. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, right? Powerpenia is some new research out in the market, which is telling us that is a more accurate indicator of longevity rather than how strong you are, your grip strength. So guys, get moving, right? We often talk about movement creates momentum, and don't overthink it. Go for a run, but don't dilly-dally. And then we got to our creative spotlight, and then we got to where we are now. So on behalf of, thanks, Jimmy. Tomorrow, how finding my why transformed my leadership. There's something for you guys to think about. Tomorrow's show. The why is an interesting conversation we have to ask ourselves sometimes. Why we're doing something. Why? What's your why? I want to make money. I want to have a healthy life. I want to have a great family. What's the why? When you discover your why, it's going to transform your leadership. Think about that for a moment. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. How finding your why, how finding my why transformed my leadership. Once I found my why, it was rocket ships, man. We're talking about that tomorrow. And of course, Patrick Kelly. Get another guest hanging out in the lab here tomorrow morning as well. Patrick Kelly is joining us as well. So, all right. Well, listen, on behalf of, there it is. There's a sound. No, not that one. On behalf of, there it is there. On behalf of producer Jimmy, on behalf of producer Melissa behind the scenes, on behalf of John Andersen, C. Marty Fit is getting after it today, AJ Zeglin, Jacob Newton, Lady Drew, I appreciate you hanging out with us today. Good time, appreciate you hanging out with us today. Adam Holroyd, my baby Lauren, Jay, good to see you, brother. Remington George. What else we got here today? And everybody else that popped into the Rick Clody, thanks for hanging out with us as well. And everybody else who popped through the show today. I appreciate all of you. This show doesn't happen without you guys tuning in. So we're back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and available within the next 20 minutes on Apple and Spotify. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Keach is here too. Yes. Okay, Jimmy, we're going to stick around for one last second here. We got Keach in the house. My buddy Christopher Keach is joining us from Cali. Keach, we got to get you back on the show, man. We got to get you back here sooner than later. So let's get you on the calendar. Let's exchange some text here today or tomorrow. Would love to have you back on to catch up myself, John, and Marty, and see how's baby. Guys, Keach is a new dad. And I got to think he might be probably one of the most exceptional dads on the planet, except for myself or John or Marty. Oh, Marty's not a dad yet, but we got Keach joining us from Cali. Oh, man. You can see the smile you put on my face. I'm appreciative to see you here, pal. And Lady Drew, I appreciate you here as well. Awesome. So, Keach, you saw me. I saw you. Let's text. Let's get you in here. Let's catch up. Want to hear what's going on in your world and see how you're getting after it on a daily basis. I'm your host. I'm Keith Billis. That's me, the guy behind the camera. Love my earpods. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Bye-bye.